Hello and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, and as always, lift off. I kind of like to start with this lift off, kind of somehow interesting. Anyways, today with a quite big rocket, at least in terms, at least comparing to the prior missions we had, and it is a standard descent, so I don't think I will have to cover a lot about it, so I'm gonna skip forward to a more interesting part. So now we are already almost in orbit, have a pretty high apoapsis, and the thing why I decided to share this part is because of the fairing. Yeah, here we go. I'm going to release the fairing soon, taking a few screenshots there now with the release of the fairing and the payload showing. By the way, for those who don't know, I also have an Instagram account where I'm posting some of those pictures of videos slightly earlier than them coming up on YouTube, and also a few other things, like for example where I bought the new headset to increase the audio quality for you guys, so you can definitely check this out if you're interested in kind of following other things, well, still definitely channel related things that are going on. But I think now we should focus again onto the wobbling construction that is performing an orbital circularization burn. So as you saw, the ship is not that very stable. At least it is definitely stable, however not very, stable in terms of rigidity, so it's not quite rigid, it wobbles around. Anyways, but as you know, we have sent in the last mission a scanner satellite to the moon, and we can also see the scanner satellite right now in the right, where it is orbiting the moon, and we will have scanned the moon for resources, and because of that, what is the follow-up mission? Of course it has to be something related to resources, so I've built a small research mining station, and we are going to send this station today to the moon. And if you see on the payload, well, before that we're now performing our transfer burn, but before that I just realized that I was falling down towards Kerbin and slightly slipped through the atmosphere, but that is not really a big issue since we have definitely enough fuel. Anyways, what I wanted to say now, we have a small mining station, and on top of that a sort of sky crane design in order to lower down the station or the mining facility safely onto the lunar surface. And on top of that, it also should perform orbital rendezvous in terms of flying up to a space station, which will be added later on maybe, and deliver some ore or fuel, probably fuel because we have an ISU on the station, and with that we can refuel this lander. Now I'm still playing around with maneuver nodes after I've got a real circular orbit, and playing around with maneuver nodes, well, I think I should do some videos on maneuver nodes, but there are there are a lot of tutorials out there if you want to check them out. Just type it in the YouTube search bar and I'm sure my videos will never show up there. But anyways, I would definitely appreciate if you would stick around until I make them. But anyways, now we're performing our transit burn to the moon, and yeah, not very interesting to sit this through, so now just tweaking it a little bit, and you can see the purple orbital path, how the lunar gravity will influence us if we won't do anything. And here we have again a pretty good look at our ship. Now deploying some solar panels around the ship to let it be powered or recharged, since it is probe core, so there are no Kerbals on board, so we cannot operate this if we are outside of the communication arc. And luckily we have this comms network around Kerbin, and on top of that this satellite, which also provides some coverage over some places of the moon, even though it was not primarily designed to do that. That's a positive side effect. now coming around the dark side. We're going to decelerate here with our transfer stage. There you go, that was the thing I searched. With this transfer stage to, you know, use as much fuel as we can in it, and then switch over to our landing stage. At this point in the mission, I was a little bit concerned about the fuel, how much fuel will remain after landing, if we even have enough fuel to land and, well, safely touch down on the Mini surface without going and, you know, blowing up into a lot of small bits and pieces, you know. And here we have in the background Kerbin, not now a little bit hidden, however we can definitely see Kerbin behind there. And now on the landing thrusters, however, I disabled one quite big fuel tank in order to save on fuel, or let's say the other way, if I were to use up all the fuel, I would still have some fuel in reserve in order to, you know, either abort the mission in terms of going back to orbit around Moon and think through what to do next, or to, if I realize that I'm kind of just a little bit low on fuel and need this extra, I don't know, maybe 100, 200 delta meters per second of delta V, then I could unlock them and give myself this little bit of extra wiggle room. Yeah, and we can also see on the map our rover, which has been sent to the Mini surface. Anyways, since we're now doing not really a lot of interesting things, A, because we're quite low to the surface, and B, it takes some time of course to decelerate, and this is only the second time we would visit this the Moon so close up, you know. We have already sent one bigger, the satellite of course, however we were not so close to the Moon since the very first episode of the channel, which may not have been watched by everybody watching this video. So we can also talk a little bit about other things. What is something rather interesting, or something I would want to address, is all these KSP missions are kind of getting into some sort of series, and this was not the initial plan right now, or it was definitely not the initial plan, making a Kerbal Space Program series in Sandbox especially. So there are now two options. Either I'm going to stop sending so easy, they are not quite easy or as easy as they may seem, they're definitely not, they're too difficult. Because I'm not the best KSP player, they are of medium difficulty for me. Anyways, that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is there are two options right now. Either I'm going to continue doing these things, medium to small size missions, just to, you know, kind of do something interesting related to Kerbal Space Program, or I'm going to go full on out on more rare, however bigger missions. I have one quite big mission planned, but I have not done it yet. Neither have I really tested it out too much, but I have a few interesting ideas about how I'm going to do this. Just as some spoiler up ahead, it is going to be sent to Eve. Yes, Eve. So we're going to do something with Eve eventually, maybe sooner, maybe later, I don't know yet. So we're going to see that. The other option is that I'm going to, not the other option, but the other thing that I've been thinking about, now getting close to the surface, starting a career mode series. So in this career mode we will definitely visit the Moon and Miningbase, which we haven't visited yet, and a lot of other celestial bodies, and do more interesting, or not really interesting, but more consecutive parts, in terms of the one episode is kind of the continuation of the previous one, almost a little bit like I'm doing right now. And yeah, just a little bit, it would make more sense doing those kinds of missions in a career mode instead of a sandbox mode, where you don't really have to stick to some specific order, even though I'm kind of at the moment doing things in order, building some small station around the orbit and sending some bases to other bodies. Anyways, with those things out of the way and the more or less administrative part done, we have safely landed on the surface of the Moon. Nice, isn't it? So right now we have established this refueling thingy, doing a few more screenshots here and there, as you see, but this is not too important, I guess. Anyways, now we can appreciate this towering drilling structure, deploying solar panels, deploying now the drills, and before that also the satellite dish. And now you can see this thing tipping over once deploying the drills. I was so scared when this happened. You know, you were working on this thing for quite some time, and then you just got lifted up, and your wheels, by the way, this thing has wheels in order to move it around the surface if needed. But this is just, you know, as a secondary thing. Yeah. And now standing on those drills. Very weird. Very weird. But it did work out. So, anyways, thank you very much for watching, and until next time.